Now entering the elevator to the retail underground. Enjoy the descent to the subversive layer of knowledge.
All right, we are live. What's going on tonight, everybody? I think we've already got some people in here. Let's see who's in here. We got Tam's here. What's going on, Tam?
What is up, Tam?
Tam never misses, you know. Tam is always here. We appreciate it. There he is. I'm curious to see when Derek gets on. I'm curious when Derek gets here because I saw that he posted. I got to give him shit too because he posted in the wrong. He posted in the group.
Oh.
I got to. What's that?
That was my fault. I told him to go that one. I thought that was the one you wanted.
No. The page. I got to delete the group for it.
Oh, he's like, there's only 12 people in here. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. I don't know.
Guys, we will be starting a new Facebook group that will be totally dedicated to crypto. I think it's actually going to be called Tales from the Crypto. So it will be totally based around cryptocurrency. And like we talked about on the last live stream, the entire channel is basically going to be just all crypto all the time. So really looking forward to that. I've got a good video planned for tomorrow. We're going to do another low cap altcoin gem video. I'm looking forward to it. I got 3 really good ones that I'm excited about. So let's see. John's here.
John, what's up, John?
What is up, John?
You know, for the first time in like 6 months, we got decently good weather. That's 70 degrees is probably like a bad day in LA. So
I got the air conditioner on. I fired up the central air today. I'm not gonna lie. It hit 70 and I fired up the central air.
It actually sounds really nice. I'm a little jealous.
It is quite glorious. It's a nice 65 in the house right now.
My gosh.
Joey's on.
He's gonna join the next crypto league.
Is he? All right.
That would give us 13 if we. I think our goal for the next crypto. We're at 12 this week for this fantasy league. My goal is I think we should get to 20. Try to get to 20. When's the next one we're doing? The next one would be
like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
It would be the 18th. So the next one, or this current one ends, or no. Geez, next one ends the 18th, and do we do one the same day? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, that's the goal. We'll get 20 people, and then we'll grow each time, and we can get bigger prizes out for peeps. But
that's right. We're about to go over 2,000 subs pretty soon. So when we hit 2,500, we're doing another giveaway. So we will be there hopefully sooner rather than later. So. Joey's on. Guys, Joey, anybody that doesn't know Joey is Dan's brother-in-law. Joey is our editor or will be our full-time editor here very shortly. I still edit all the no tie required videos. However, once we get to the point where we're going to need a full-time editor for that, Joey's going to do all that. And he is our editor for a couple other YouTube ventures that we have going as well. So shout out to Joey.
Warmer than us. What?
Wow.
Must be all that air pollution in LA or something. All the smog's keeping all the sunlight out.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Any better.
You what?
So not that New York's any better, but.
So John, how close to Hollywood are you? Just I'm just curious.
I have a hard time with cities and realizing how big they really are because, like, you know what I mean? You see it on a map and you're like, oh, shoot. Because, like, where we're from, on the same distance of a map, you could get there in 5 minutes. We're in a city, it would take you an hour. So I have a very hard time with looking at a geographical area like LA. You see the skyline and everything, and you think, oh, LA is not that big. But then you realize how much it sprawls out and everything. So. All right, so they want to talk about a new gem. Oh, okay.
Talk about a new gem. All right. Hold on.
Now you got them going. All right.
Hold on here. Okay. Hold
He's
on.
got
Let me get one of them pulled up. I can't give all three away, but let me get one of them pulled up here. Hold on. Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay. Give me 2 seconds here.
So John says, ha. I don't know if he meant the ha to my joke about LA being smoggy, or ha like you think I'm close to LA, or could it be ha I live or in Hollywood, or is like ha like I rub elbows with the rich and famous every day. So and that's the thing, like I know LA is huge. I mean, if you're driving around LA and you go to a certain spot, I'm assuming you'd see celebrities and stuff. I don't know. Oh, he says as far away as possible. He's 20 blocks from Ocean and Santa Monica. On a good day, Hollywood's 20 minutes away. That was in 1970. 20 minutes away. I mean, okay, so even if you say like today, 40 minutes away, I mean that's pretty cool still. I want to go there one day.
All right. Let's see.
All right, what do you got for us?
All right, hold on.
You gotta forgive Kyle. We're technically inefficient.
Well, no, okay, so this one right here is so obscure. It's so obscure you can't find it on CoinMarketCap. You got to go to CoinGecko. So that's how obscure this one is, guys. We've been doing some research. We've been doing some hunting, but I really do like this one. So let me get this pulled up.
Drum roll.
Share it.
Now I'm curious.
There we go. All right, it's called Odds. All right, so $26 million market cap. Right now, just under $3. Let's go down through here real quick, and you can kind of see. So last 14 days, it's up almost 60%. So it's definitely on a nice little pump there and everything. But I want to go to the website really and show what it is. So I'm hoping Derek's on here because I know Derek is big into stocks and options trading and stuff like that. That's why I thought this one was kind of cool. It's a multi-chain options trading, simple, secure, and decentralized. Okay, so it's options trading for Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, and Ethereum. It enables users to trade customized options with rewards. And then as you go down through the website, it kind of goes through the entire process of you can do calls, you can do puts. It's pretty cool. You know, I was sitting there digging into it a little bit earlier today, and I'm like, this is kind of a cool project. You know, again, it's one of those. It's a shot in the dark. You know what? It could be massive, or it could be zero. You know, there's just, you know, sometimes with these ones, there's no easy way to be able to tell because either they're such a brand new project or they're just not a large project where, you know, you're not really 100% sure. So it'll be interesting, but they do have a lot of people backing it. They've got their roadmap up so you can see what they've got going on and everything. And then you can read about their team and everything as well. So it's definitely one I'm interested to showcase on that video because I do think it's kind of an interesting option for it. And if anybody wants to know where to get it, Uniswap is probably going to be the easiest, and that's kind of a reoccurring theme for a lot of these is utilizing Uniswap to get them. That's usually going to be the place that you're going to get most of these low cap ones like that until they get picked up by a larger exchange. But Uniswap's great.
That's an interesting one. Odd. So this one essentially gives you rewards, and it's a decentralized version of doing options, puts, calls on stocks. Essentially, to sum it up in 10 seconds. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I got one too that's going to be a competitor to Chainlink, and everybody knows how bullish I am on Chainlink. So, do I think that they're going to beat them? No, but hell no. Nobody's beating Chainlink, but I do have one that is going to be a competitor to Chainlink, which if they can kind of squeeze their way in there a little bit, could be a good one.
And what was odds was something like $2 right? $2 and something.
Yeah, $2.90. I mean, at a $26 million market cap, it's definitely one of those things where it's so low market cap right now that, you know, to get to $1 billion market cap, it's going to be like 45x where it is right now, you know. Right. So, you know, and $1 billion market cap's not out of the realm of possibility for a lot of cryptos. I mean, the 24-hour trading volume is over 2 million. So it's got a decent amount of trading volume. And then I'm looking at it right now. The circulating supply is 100 million, which isn't massive. I mean, you've got some projects that have 100 billion in circulating supply. So 100 million is really nothing. Let's see. Watch the Gem BE land. I've got some different projects that I think, Michael, I think you'll find really interesting coming up here on some of the next few videos and everything. We're gonna cover those low cap ones. Seem to be what people really enjoy. So we're gonna keep on covering a lot of that. I mean, we're gonna cover all the different projects, but people seem to really enjoy that. And then actually, we had a video that we dropped earlier today too, that was all about like how would I invest if I was starting with $1,000, which guys, that was my starting budget when I first got into crypto. That was my budget, was $1,000. So I didn't start with like this massive budget that is unobtainable for a lot of people. I started very small, and you just grow it over time. It's one of those things that you're not going to get rich overnight unless you just absolutely nail it on one of these projects. But I played it safe, and then as I started to grow my portfolio, that's when I started to diversify a little bit and see, hey, maybe I'll take 50 or $100 or something like that and throw it into one of these projects and just see what the heck happens. But so we did a video on if I had $1,000 to start with, what would I put that in today? Okay. And that doesn't mean that a year from now it's going to be the same thing. But if I was just starting out and I was just getting into it right now, I would do this with it, and these are the projects that I would put it into. So definitely check that video out if you haven't already, because I do think that it gives some really good insights into what your mindset with a smaller budget really ought to be.
Yeah, and guys, let us know in the comment section if you want. Kyle and I have been tossing around the idea of opening up a joint portfolio for both of us that is essentially mostly low cap gems, kind of risky ones, just throwing $100 in there and seeing if we can
having some fun.
Yeah, and see if we can build it to a substantial amount. I mean, who knows? You never know. Like Kyle said, all it takes is one. But we actually have a good question. Michael said, what is too low for a market cap? That's a really good question, actually.
That is a really good question. Everybody has a different definition of like low cap, mid cap, all that type of stuff. For the low cap stuff, I try to look for stuff that's like under 50 million, let's say. And that's not like a hard number. I mean, it's okay to go outside of that and everything. But, if you can go like under 50 million for a low cap, to get to $1 billion, you're still going to have a massive gain, a massive pump to be able to get there for us. So, but in terms of what is like too low of one, I don't know that there necessarily is too low of one, because every company has to start somewhere, and it could be the next gem, hey, Tesla now is not what Tesla was when they first started out. I mean, if you listen to documentaries on Elon Musk and on Tesla, or if you read his book, the early days, I mean, they almost went bankrupt how many different times, and they were really struggling. Same thing when he started PayPal. When he got going with PayPal and everything, there was some meager times that went along with it and everything too. So, I think in terms of crypto, I don't know that there's necessarily anything that's too small of a market cap. If the project's good and you can justify why it's worth investing into it, then I think it's worth a shot. The other thing too is depending on what your budget is. If you're starting with, let's say $500 or $1,000, guys, 70% of your portfolio should be between Bitcoin and Ethereum. At least that's my opinion. It's not professional advice, but my opinion is those are your two safe havens. You want to protect those investments. Those are the two that you're not guaranteed that they're going to go up. However, they're the most likely to get you the gains. And maybe if you're putting, let's say, $700 between the two into those ones, you've got a pretty darn good chance that you're going to be able to turn that 700 into 1,000, into 1,200, into 1,400, something like that. Now you're starting to get the ball rolling. You're starting to create some opportunity for yourself, where then you can take those gains and either keep them in those, or you start adding in some other projects. And as you grow, then, you can diversify a little bit, and you can afford to take a few risks here and there and throw some, excuse me, throw some money at some of these small ones. If you're starting with 10 grand, it's a different story. If I was starting with with 10 grand, you can probably take 5 or 10% of that portfolio and use it on some of these smaller cap projects that you think have a great use case and good potential. The key with those ones is monitoring those ones all the time, because when they pump, typically they're going to pump hard, but they're also going to dump just as hard. So you want to make sure you catch that wave at the right time and get out of it and take your profits while there's profits to be taken.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about that a lot, actually, is making sure you do pull your profits. And Tron is Kyle's cautionary tale from 4 years ago, where he left it in there. He got piggish and was like, oh, it's going to go to the moon. It's going to pump, pump, pump. And it was. And you got to realize, it's harder. It's easy for us to say, and it's easy to say in hindsight, oh, you just need to pull when you have. But I think it's important to go in when you invest a certain amount into something, to know what okay, this is how much I'm going to pull back or pull out of it if I make this much. So for instance, when I know, like, when you put money into a certain, let's say you dump, $100 into a crypto, usually once you get a certain value of it back, you pull out the initial investment, or at least enough for you to feel comfortable, and then you diversify.
Yeah, no, I think that I think that's the biggest key. I think that everybody's got a different strategy. Some people just put it in there and they hold. You know what? They just let it ride, and they're going to take the good with the bad and everything. And there's nothing wrong with doing that either. But it's one of those things. You got to be willing sometimes to take profits and do that. Now, something else that's really, really cool, and we might make a video about it, I'm not sure, but I want to talk about it on here. There's rumors. Now, nothing's official, but there is rumors that Walmart may potentially be adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, which, if that happens, that's massive. Coinbase having their IPO in about a week and a half is big news. It's something where you're going to start to see an influx of more money coming into crypto as people are buying up the Coinbase IPO. But Walmart, I've been reading a lot of articles about it lately. If they were to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet, what would that look like? I mean, there's so many different things that could happen. I mean, first and foremost, does that mean that they're going to start accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment? And there's speculation that if they do that, how do you structure that in terms of, from their standpoint, they know that they have this incredibly valuable asset. It's worth it to them to maybe offer customers a discount if they pay in crypto. At that point, you're going to have every soccer mom out there going, and even if they've never heard of Bitcoin, they can save 10% at Walmart on everything that they buy. They're going to Coinbase. They're going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and start using Bitcoin to pay for it, because they're going to save an additional 10% on the already low prices. And you start then getting the brick and mortar retailers into it. So it's not just the e-commerce, it's not just the credit card processing and stuff like that. Now you're starting to you've got the world's largest brick and mortar retailer who also is becoming a major player in e-commerce. You have them involved in it. And that just continues to raise the stakes and bring more awareness to it. So don't know if it'll happen, but that's what the rumor going around is that's a very real possibility over, the next month or two.
Yeah. And even if that doesn't actually happen now, eventually it's going to. From 4 years ago, just the accessibility and the ease of access to buy a lot of these coins, even some of the obscure ones, is so much easier than it was 4 years ago. I will say, even Bitcoin to a certain extent with Coinbase and stuff. I remember originally yours and our bank cards our debit cards weren't allowed on there. And now they are. Just things like that.
There are still some exchanges, though, that you have a really hard time. Dad, for instance, has been trying to get a Gemini account. He's got Coinbase, he's got KuCoin. He's been trying to get Gemini, and he can't. Not because of Gemini. It's because his bank is not allowing the account to be linked up with Gemini's exchange. Banks are fighting it tooth and nail right now. I mean, they have to see the writing on the wall. They have to know that this is coming, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to prevent it. Now, in my opinion, the smart banks are going to be whoever the first ones are to start partnering with some of these big crypto companies, basically saying, hey, look, there's probably still going to be a need for banks, and we want to partner with, whatever, crypto it is. We want to partner with you, and we can work together on this to bring this technology to people, to bring this decentralization to it. We'll give up some of the reins of everything and really make it great all the way around. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. There he is. Derek, who I know you had posted earlier that there was only one person that was actually showing profit so far in the crypto challenge. Who is it?
Interesting.
I'm curious. I'm going to go with Bart. Bart's been pretty solid. I don't know if he's on here tonight, but Bart's been pretty solid, and he won the first one. So we're gonna say Bart. I'm trying to remember what projects he picked.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Can you give some low cap, which may have potential for 10 to 100x? Honestly, I think that there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. My best recommendation on that, definitely watch the video that's coming out tomorrow, but go back through. We've got 3 or 4 videos so far that have low and mid cap altcoins to watch out for. And we're going to have a bunch more of them coming because, I mean, guys, there's so many opportunities out there. A lot of it just ends up, a lot of it comes down to, doing your research, just kind of going through and figuring out, does this have a good use case? One of my favorite ones that we did recently was Storm. It's basically like a crypto version of Rakuten. Anybody that's familiar with Rakuten, they're basically an affiliate marketing company where you sign up for an account with Rakuten and you get cash back on purchases from retailers, and the way that Rakuten is able to do that, they get a kickback from, let's say, Nike. You go to Nike.com, you purchase something on there using your Rakuten link. Nike pays Rakuten a percentage, let's say 8%, for bringing the customer to them. And then Rakuten shares that with you and pays you maybe 2 or 3% of that as a reward for using their service. And then they pocket that 5% difference or whatever. Storm's the same way. Storm is basically just a crypto version of that. So you can get paid out in cryptocurrency and you can shop on all sorts of sites. eBay is on there. I mean, there's like 750 different retailers on there, so something like that, I think has huge potential. I mean, because Rakuten has blown up. I mean, it's everywhere. Everybody's using it. Because everybody's buying stuff online anymore. So I think that has a great use case. That would definitely be one to look at. The one that we just talked about, odds. Again, some of these, there's no way for sure to be able to say absolutely that's a surefire winner. But I love the use case for it, and I think it's a really interesting project. And you don't see a lot of other companies that are in that space. There's another one we haven't covered yet, but we're gonna Travala. It's all based around the travel industry. So there's so many different projects and so many different use cases for it. Actually, I will say probably my favorite recent one. Part of it's because the nostalgia is definitely real with it, but also part of it is because NFTs are just so hot right now. And we talked about the other night was Pokemon. I think that's a really, really cool project. It's brand new. So anybody that's not familiar with it, definitely look it up. Pokemon. It's a cool project. And I think that because NFTs are just hot as a pistol right now, that has potential to do very, very well. Plus they have a little bit of a differentiator compared to some of these others. And it's not like a massively high market cap. So that one absolutely has that potential.
Yeah. And sometimes, Max Computer and Technology, I'm just going to call you MCT. We found, when Kyle and I were doing some research for our first crypto league challenge, we went way down, like the 60-second page on CoinMarketCap. And there was a couple on there. Like I said, the one that I took on, BitPump's token, and that thing had an 11,000% gain in the first 3 or 4 days it was live. And then it tapered off and it stayed about the same and hasn't done really anything since. But the initial coin offering, the ICO, it was very low, and then all of a sudden just shot up. So imagine if you invested $100, you'd have $110,000. Is that right? Is that what we figured out?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 11,000%. $110,000 from a $100 investment. Where else can you do that? That's just insane.
Well, actually, it makes that brings up a great point too about like ICOs and stuff like that. So, one of the best strategies for ICOs, guys, is if you're going to get involved in them, and a lot of the general public doesn't get into ICOs and stuff like that. If you're able to get into an ICO, you don't want to catch it when it's first initially pumping, because typically what happens with an ICO is it's going to have just a parabolic movement very, very quickly. So, I mean, it's going to go first day it's out, bam, it's going way up. Well, you can rest assured that the people that bought in, if that thing ICOs, if they're able to buy in at $2 and that thing shoots up to 100, yeah, everybody and their brother's taking profit on that thing and getting out of it. You're taking their money and running basically, and that price is going to tank. So the best time to get into an ICO is either beforehand or give it a couple of days and then wait until that thing bottoms out, because eventually it will bottom out and stabilize and then start going. But don't catch a falling knife. Wait till you see, a good support level. Wait till you see confirmation that, hey, it's been at, back at this, $2 to $3 price range for the last, 2 to 3 days. Okay, now maybe is the time to get into this. It's starting to kind of hover around that and stay there. Derek says everybody should go to Jane and give him a heart on his deal. Absolutely. Guys, go to jane.com and look up Scarlet Arrow on there, and Derek has a deal going live tomorrow on there. Help him out. He's helping, guys. He's helping us out with the crypto league. He's tracking everything for us. Go over there and give him. Derek, throw your link in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I'll do it right now.
I did it earlier today. How many more months do you think we have left in this bull market? Let's see. We're almost to mid-April. Crazy. So I would say 5 to 6. And guys, that doesn't mean that you can't make money in a bear market. There's absolutely potential to be making money in a bear market. You have to be a little bit more choosy about things and a little more picky about what you're doing. But I would say 4 to 5 months left in this current bull cycle. I believe sometime around Halloween is kind of where I'm targeting for it. So yeah, I would say 5 months, maybe a little bit more so than that, maybe up to 6 months for it. And that's really kind of where the end of it's going to be. And typically what'll happen towards the end of a bull run, at least that this is historically what happens. Bitcoin's going to get the big pump first. So as we're getting close to the end, they start really going crazy. We throw out some of these price predictions and it seems like way off right now. Like, okay, Ethereum's sitting at like $2,000 right now, and I believe it'll get to 20,000. And that might seem crazy because it's going to 10x itself in 4 or 5 months, 6 months. Well, yeah, it probably will, because what happens as you get closer and closer to the end, that's when there's this life cycle where there's excitement, then there's euphoria, and when you start getting into that euphoric state where everybody's just throwing money into it because the price just keeps going up, it keeps climbing higher and higher, faster and faster, and these things start doubling in value within a couple of weeks basically of one another. Mm-hmm. So typically Bitcoin happens first. Okay, money starts coming back out of Bitcoin, and then it dumps into the next immediate, top of mind coins, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, all these top 50, let's say top 50 to 100 projects. Those are going to be the next ones that get the big pump after Bitcoin. And this is the very end. And then after that, everybody's looking for that last little bit of profit before the bull runs over. So guess where it goes? To all these low cap altcoins that are sitting there with, $10 million market cap. And they start dumping, thousands and thousands of dollars into that, and it just starts pumping the price, and you get enough people putting the money into it, and then all of a sudden, those things pump.
Yeah.
Are you all still buying crypto at this stage of the cycle, or just holding what you got? I'm still buying. Hey, a day like today was a perfect day to buy. If you had, guys, here's the other thing. have money sitting on the side available if at all possible. And that's all based on what your current portfolio is and what your budget is. But if you have a decent sized portfolio, have some money set on the side because you want to, it's called dollar cost averaging. It's very, very tough to time the top or the bottom of a market. So have money set on the side, kind of waiting. So then, if you get a day like today where everything's red and some of them are down pretty significantly, you're going to get those days. That happens. That's in any market. Doesn't matter if it's crypto, stocks, doesn't matter what it is. You're going to get those days. Then you've got money set aside ready to go, and you can go in and buy it rather than having to sell one of your other ones. Like, let's say that you've got quite a bit of Ethereum, but you really would love to buy the graph. Like, oh man, graph's on a great deal today. Well, shit, my Ethereum's worth less today than it would have been a week ago had I sold some of it a week ago. So now I'm going to take a hit on what I could make on my Ethereum to trade it so that I could buy the graph. So if you had money just set on the side waiting for it, then you're good to go. So that's where kind of taking profits comes into play as well. If you have a strategy going in that, once I hit a certain percentage of gains, I'm going to pull a little bit out. And then at that point, I might put it into another crypto. I might just leave it in like a stable coin, and let it sit there and tether itself to the dollar so that I can wait and see when the next opportunity is.
Yeah. And real quick, Kyle, can you pop up for me or allow me to screen share? I want to show you.
Yep.
Just Luis, this is for you, just so you can see. Give me a minute here. I was just looking at this on CoinMarketCap while you're saying that, Kyle. Absolutely insane. Just to show you, there's still crazy. I mean, biggest gainer for today, Aave down 143,000%. 143,000%.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
Holy 133,000%, even 300%.
As you say, even on a day when the rest of the market is a bloodbath. But guys, that right there, that's the perfect example. If you were ever in a project like that where it did that, you need to take, because anybody that's in that right there, any person that has those right there, you got to take profits. You have to, because there's no way that's going to sustain. That's a coin that nobody's ever heard of.
That is absolutely insane. Like, you just think about that and just imagine though, like, that's what goes to show you guys. You can, there's money to be made. You just gotta, some of it is like Kyle said, you gotta look at certain factors, but some of it sometimes is just dumb luck and getting in the right time.
Well, and some of it's just, that's the beauty of playing it smart to begin with. Build your portfolio, and guys, I didn't build mine overnight. Again, I started 4 years ago, and I started with less than 1,000. 1,000 ended up being the initial amount that I wanted to put in. But I started with a little bit less because I was skeptical, just like most people are when they're first getting into it. It was this brand new thing to me. But that's the importance of, at the beginning, just being smart about where you're putting your money first. Go with the safest bets possible. And then as you start to bring that profit back in, have some of it set to the side so that you can buy the dip. You don't want to sell on a day like today. You want to be buying on a day like today. And then when you get those big green days where you're up 10, 20, 30, 40% or more, depending on what your strategy is and what you want your profit to be and how much you have invested, then take it. If you only have $100 in something and it's up 10%, it's probably not going to be worth it to sell it because your gains really aren't going to be that high. And by the time you pay your fees and stuff like that to cash out of it and you pay the tax on it, it's not going to be worth that much. If you got 10 grand in something and it goes up 10%, well, okay, maybe at that point it is worth doing that because you're making some significant gains for it. So, everybody's portfolio is different.
Yes, absolutely.
And everybody's strategy is different.
And going off of what you just said here, we have Louis said that Aave down is let's see here. It's not a coin, it's a leverage product when the coin goes up or down.
Yep.
So with that being said, you have like things like Ethereum Lightning, which is a coin, 300%. And like Kyle said, this has been a really kind of a poor day for crypto, and it's still 300% gain. Like you were saying earlier, 10% on a coin, stock market, stockbrokers and
that's
stuff.
That's a good year.
be pumped to have those kind of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all, and that's the thing. I think the hardest thing for a lot of people is, being patient sometimes on certain products, but for sure, there's absolutely still money to be made out there. And like you said, even during a bear market, you can. It just needs to be a little more. You need to be more careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? Your strategy might change a little bit during a bear market. Hey, one of the things I would love to get into is day trading. I don't dare get into it until I'm very, very comfortable with the concept of it and everything. But that's something that I'm interested in learning to do and testing out and trying it out and everything. I think that would be a lot of fun. Like I said, like Dan said earlier, something Dan and I are talking about doing is filming some videos, maybe even do them live. Who knows? Of us taking, take a small budget and we'll throw it into some of these low cap gems that we talk about on the channel and everything, and just see what happens. You know what? Hey, we're going to take, a couple $100 and we're going to go shopping and put 50 into this one or, 50 into that one and see what happens. I think it would be kind of fun.
Absolutely.
John says, I haven't pulled back any profits yet. How fast can you pull money out to trade? As quickly as you want to, John. So a lot of it depends on what exchange you're using it for. The other thing, like if you're using Coinbase, for instance, Coinbase actually has a trade feature right on there where if you have, let's say, Ethereum, and you don't want to sell that out into USD to buy something else, what you can do is just swap that for a different coin. They do take, I believe it's just a very, very small percentage from that, but you can basically say, okay, I want to swap my, this much Ethereum for Bitcoin or for Bitcoin Cash or, whatever it is. And it's going to save you a lot of headaches and a lot of money in the long run in terms of exchange fees and stuff like that. Do you pull back to cash out or convert to another project? Are you taxed each time or only if you cash out? So typically for me, I'm not pulling anything out in terms of cashing it out yet. Hey, when we reach the peak, I will. I'm gonna still keep a bunch of it in the market, and I'll at that point put it into a stable coin, USD, Tether, something like that. I'll put it into something like that and just wait until the market bottoms out and then go back in and buy back in with bigger buying power. But at that point, yeah, I'm going to cash some of that out and take some profit on it and be able to, at that point have some fun with it a little bit too. It's fun to invest it and watch it grow and stuff like that. But at some point, you gotta be able to enjoy it a little bit too.
Yep.
Anything else, guys? You got anything else for the people out there, Dan?
Nope, I'm just making a note here, but just some talking points for Monday. But I have a feeling there's going to be some trades to be had on our crypto league on Monday.
I think we're going to see some fireworks this weekend.
I do too, which I think is
April is normally a very bullish month for crypto. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens end of the week and then into the weekend.
And I think that's why you're going to see, and you're going to have a lot of winners and you're going to have some losers. And it's curious to see, do the people that have losers, are they going to hang on and hope it gets? Because that's the thing. You have another week. Do you hang on those ones? Or if they're up, 30%, and you're like, okay, this is a good one. But you see other ones shooting up 50 or 60%. It's going to be interesting.
I think that a lot of it too depends on because of the timing of when it started. A lot of people had Hollow as one of their picks, and depending on when we based that on, Hollow was on a huge pump when a lot of people picked them. And then it tanked the next day and it went way, way down. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting.
It is.
All right. Are you going to make life-changing wealth this cycle? It depends on if certain projects pump the way that I'm thinking that they're gonna. I don't know if I would call it like life-changing. I mean, it would make a huge difference. It's not, $50 million or something like that. I wish it was, but that's my goal. That's the goal that I'm building towards and everything. But if certain projects that I'm very, very bullish on and are some of my biggest holdings, if certain projects do pump the way that I'm expecting that they're going to, and the way that I think that they will, I'm going to be really happy. I will definitely be very happy. Actually, I'll tell you one thing, guys, that I've been actually investing the most into lately is Bitcoin. As dull as that sounds, Bitcoin was the one part of my portfolio where I wanted to strengthen it because I wasn't as happy with how much I had of that comparative to other projects. And I still want to make sure that I've got a very solid position in Bitcoin. So that's the main one that I've been buying, especially as it still has not broke that 60K barrier, or it did very briefly, but it's really struggling to get over that 60K. When it does, I think it's going to run hard. It's just getting past that. Tam says, can you explain market cap? Absolutely. Hold on a second here. It'll be, and we're going to make a video about this as well, Tam. Come on. Hold on. Just waiting for my computer to pull up here.
So essentially, market cap is going to be in.
Yeah, I'll pull it. It'll be easier because I can put it right on the screen. And then if she wants to be able to screenshot it or anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, Luis said basically a pretty, and that's the thing, it's a simplistic way of putting it, but he's absolutely right. It's numbers of coins times price per coin. Oops. And it's a good way, it's a good indicator to kind of tell you how stable or the potential of a coin, how stable it is and the potential of it.
All right. Can you see that right there?
Yes.
So Tam, one of the really cool things on CoinMarketCap is they do have like little informational things on all of these. So you can see right here, market cap's basically the current price times the circulating supply for it. So you just take, like, for Bitcoin, it's the 56,000 right there times the 18,600,000+ that they have in circulating supply. And that's going to bring you to over $1 trillion right there. Now, the other cool thing up top is they'll give you like Bitcoin's dominance. Okay. So they usually use Bitcoin and Ethereum because they are the top two. They use Bitcoin's dominance as kind of a gauge as far as what's going on in the market. Obviously, the higher Bitcoin's dominance is, it means that Bitcoin is the choice for people right now as far as what they're putting the money into and what's going on in the market. As this number starts to go down, and as long as the market cap continues to stay high, it means that a lot of that money is pouring into some of the alts, and those are going to start running and really starting to gain price. Market cap the other day actually was over 2 trillion for the first time ever. So that's really, I mean, man, I can remember when I first started in this, it was like the coolest thing to hit 750 billion, so not even, way off from where we are now, but like that was the coolest thing. I remember that first day the first time that we ever went over like a $750 billion total market cap. And that was like a big deal. Now, Bitcoin is over 1 trillion pretty much consistently itself, on its own. So it's crazy, it's absolutely crazy to see how far it's come and still how far it has to go. Especially as you start to think of all the money that's still not even in crypto. I think I read a stat the other day too. Coinbase, because they're releasing all of this. Here, I'll pull this back off. There we go. Coinbase, because they have to release all of their because they have to release all their financials ahead of their IPO. Coinbase basically said that during the first quarter of 2021, because they just did all their quarterly reports, during the first quarter of 2021, they had more volume on their exchange than the entirety of 2020, just during quarter one. I mean, so yeah, that's exponential growth right there, which Coinbase is the go-to choice for most people, especially if you're a beginner in crypto. It's the easiest way to kind of get started and get into it and everything. So absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I'm really, really excited to see where this ends up going to.
Yeah, and I think that's the key for the growth of and the exponential growth for any and all cryptos is the ease of use and the ease of access for more people, because the more people that pour in, obviously, the more they're going to be worth. And if more people, like you said, if the soccer moms that shop at Walmart can easily go and buy a Bitcoin, or whatever the amount they want to buy, 1,000th of a Bitcoin to pay for their groceries, that's huge. And that is something, if it's something easy, and Coinbase, even like we were saying earlier, is so much easier to use than it was years ago. So it's exciting. It's very, very encouraging right now, where it's heading. Even when we do hit this eventual inevitable bear market, I think you're going to see it's not going to be like last time. I think
especially you're going to see Bitcoin. I would say Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe a couple other projects aren't going to have nearly as steep of a decline as what they normally would see. So in a normal bull to bear cycle where it goes from a bull market to a bear market, I mean, it's not uncommon. You're going to see, Bitcoin can fall anywhere from like 80 to 90% itself in value. And I mean, just look at the last one. It rose as high as 20 grand and then it dropped down to about 3. So has a huge fall off. A lot of other altcoins, top projects too, will go from, their all-time highs down to like 95% below that. Like perfect example, Cardano. So Cardano made it to like $1.20-ish, I think, somewhere in there during the last bull run. And it went all the way down. I think it was 2 cents. So I mean,
insane.
Hey, imagine riding that wave all the way up, because that's where you could have bought it previously. Ride it all the way up, sell it as close to the top as you can, and then you buy back in at 2 cents again, and you have just made a huge increase in your buying power. And then you just ride it up and buy it again. I mean, so, that's the other thing, guys, is watch for it when it does start to come down. I don't think that you're going to see as big of a decline, at least from a Bitcoin standpoint. Ethereum and a few of those other larger ones, they're probably going to be, I think, probably 60 to 65% you're going to see with that. So it's not nearly as steep or as volatile, but, they probably will go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Luis says, "What's your final target for Bitcoin?" His is 200,000, 250.
I think somewhere between 250 and 350 is my guess for this cycle. I'm
going to guess 300. I think the people that are saying 500,000, it's pie in the sky. I don't see that. I just think that's too rich. But I think 300 is the sweet spot, personally.
As I say, I think 250 to 350 for this bull cycle. Could it hit 500? It's possible. It's definitely possible that it could hit 5. I don't know that I don't know that it'll do it this bull run. However, watch out for a next bull run, because I think at that point you're 500 to 1 million, somewhere in there. So
then it becomes, does Bitcoin grow to a certain point where people feel, because it's amazing how many people think you can only buy, you can't just buy like a 1,000th of a Bitcoin. There's a lot of people, Kyle and I talk to, that think, oh, it's $53,000.
Right.
I can't buy one Bitcoin. Well, no, you don't have to buy just one. But you know what I
right,
mean?
you can buy $5 worth of Bitcoin if you really want to, and have 0.0000001 Bitcoin.
Right, but it's amazing. There's a lot of people that information is not out there enough. And does that affect it eventually? Does that make it less? Do more people move to another, a secondary option? So it's gonna be interesting.
Absolutely.
But yes, I think Bitcoin's it's still in its tip of the iceberg, so to speak. I think you're going to find it's going to grow much bigger this run. And then, like you said, I don't think it's going to bottom out like last time. You're going to have a decline, but not anything like last time.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Yeah, he says 200 to 250. I think that's a good estimate for it. Mm-hmm. I think 200 is again, not professional advice, but I think 200 is definitely imminent. And I'm hopeful that it goes 250 or higher, because that would be insane. But I think it's absolutely possible. All right. John's got one right there. John says, where to invest in the Coinbase IPO? I got to be honest with you, John. I don't know, just because I haven't invested into it myself. I am thinking about it, but I haven't done anything with it yet. So I actually haven't even really done a whole lot of research on that. I would think most, if you have like a brokerage account or anything like that, I would think probably on most of those you probably would be able to. But I'm not 100% sure. Crypto will go mainstream with the use of stable coins. I would have to believe that they would. I think that's going to be the most straight way forward for them to really get mass adoption. I would have to believe that it would be.
Absolutely.
All good signs, all good things happening.
We got to get Luis into the Crypto Fantasy League next round.
That's right.
This one's going to be over in a week and a half, and then we're starting another one. So stay tuned, Luis. So,
guys, one last thing. Anybody that's interested, right there is the link, crypteasy.teachable.com. It is the beginner's course to Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all that type of stuff. If you are a brand new person in the space, the best thing that you can do is get as much knowledge about it as possible. I still learn new stuff every single day. We all do. I think that it's something where the more knowledge we have about the space, the better it is for everybody. The more savvy investors there are, the better it is for everybody, because that's only going to help you moving forward, people making more informed decisions about what projects to get into and how to do their research for it. So definitely check that out. It's not expensive. It's $27. We want it to be affordable for everybody, so that everybody adds a little bit to their arsenal and polishes up on their knowledge. So let's see.
So the Crypto Fantasy League is something we do. We do a 2-week period. So essentially, you get 5 picks. You can pick any crypto out there. You can pick 5 of them. And essentially what we do is we give you $1,000 budget, and you have to put $200 into each coin you pick. So $200 into 5 picks. And we have Derek here does our, what you want to call it. He puts everything in a
he keeps track of it.
Spreadsheet, and he tracks it. And essentially the person and you're allowed to trade once within 1 weekend, and then another week later, we basically, whoever makes the most money wins $25 gift card. So it's a lot of fun. This is our second round of doing it, and we'll do another one as soon as we're done with this one. So we'll let you know, and you can get right in on it.
At what point are you thinking about taxes? If you reinvest right away, does that matter to Biden's IRS? So it typically is taxed based on your trades and stuff like that you do for it, Derek. So for me, I always weigh the pros and cons as far as how much do I have invested into that project, and what size are the gains that I'm getting out of that. It's something I kind of let my I do use a software that tracks all of my stuff from a tax standpoint and everything, but then I kind of let my accountant basically handle all that part of it, and kind of give her the heads up on, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing, and do it. I mean, because I don't trade every single day. It's definitely not something where I trade every single day. But if I know, like going into the day, like perfect example the other day with Stellar and with Litecoin, actually, they both had pretty good pumps, and they had been kind of lagging lately. And when I saw that they finally had some big pumps, and I had gotten into them well before that anyway, so I was already way up on it, but I was waiting for one last big pump. Excuse me. That's when I was like, okay, now is the time to start taking some gains. I call her and just let her know, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing, so that she can kind of prepare for it and give me an idea. Okay, this is most likely this is what you're going to be looking at from a tax consequence standpoint. So, but yes, if you're selling anything for a gain, then it will be taxable. And that's definitely something to kind of go over with your bookkeeper ahead of time, or your accountant ahead of time, and let them know what you're doing, so that they can kind of brush up on their knowledge around the space. All right. Anything else? I think the rest of it's just looks like Louise and Derek kind of going over tax stuff for. I think that's all the comments right there.
Oh yeah, guys. So wait. So Kyle, real quick, to clear up. Derek said, Dan, tell everyone to join the Facebook group for announcements and updates on the Fantasy Challenge. How do you want to do this, Kyle? Do you want to do?
Yeah, so Derek, I'm actually going to be making a brand new group that's going to be just based around crypto for it. I'll send you, Derek. I'll send you the info for it tomorrow because I'm gonna get that all set up for it tomorrow, and then we can have everything in that actual group. And we'll still have the Facebook page for No Tie Required, but we're gonna have the group, and that'll all be based around totally around crypto, and then really the channel's going pretty much all crypto as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys. As always, appreciate everybody joining in and listening in. We always enjoy doing it. So Monday night, we're going to have updates for everybody as far as what's going on with the crypto fantasy league. Who's in first right now? It looks like Alex is kind of kicking all our asses, but I think there's going to be some fireworks over the weekend. So
yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching.